Hey guys, what's up? It's Finch here. Today I'm bringing you guys my series against SoulWind for Smogon Tour 30 playoffs. For those of you who don't know what Smogon Tour is, it's a tournament consisting of the most three recent generations of OU, so SSOU, SMOU, and ORAS OU. There are 9 weeks of qualifiers which have live tournaments each weekend and Friday. And in those live tournaments, people who go the furthest get the most points. And long story short, the top 16 point getters qualify for the playoffs. Normally I'm within one of the top, 5 or so qualifiers, but this season I ran into some rough luck and I also made some pretty sketchy team choices throughout the qualifying phase. So I just barely qualified by the skin of my teeth as the 15 seed. However, SoulWind, who has been without a doubt one of the most dominant players in recent history, qualified as the 2 seed, and lo and behold, we are now playing for the first round. For those of you who aren't familiar with SoulWind's one of the best players right now. He won Smogon Classic this year, made it to the final of multiple Smogon tours before, and also made it to the final of tournaments like the official Smogon tournament, the big OU tournament at the start of every year. He's clearly one of the best competitors out there. He has undefeated SBL. He has some of the most wins out there in history, and he's looking for another win here. And he's undoubtedly going to be a very strong opponent, so I know I have my hands full already. Thankfully, though, we are in more recent generations as opposed to old generations, so thankfully I do feel a bit more confident, as I feel his best generations are generations 1, 4, and 5, but I know he's still no joke, no slouch in these tiers. He's had a lot of great results in ORAS and in SMOU, so I knew it would be a very tough match heading into it. The first game that he elected to play was ORAS OU, and I think that's probably the tier the most favorable in of the 3 for him, as he's had some great experience there and is my weakest of the 3, but I knew that I was bringing a pretty solid team coming into the match. He is known for using a lot of Clefable, Gliscor, Magnezone, Mega Metagross, and those are all Pokemon I kept in mind a lot. My ideal was I wanted to use a Life Orb Combine Clefable with special attack to kill a Gliscor. Actually had to run Modest Nature for that, be sure of it. And that set actually didn't look too well here, but with some right chip and with some things going my way, I could definitely use it to finesse a win with it. I also had a Mega Metagross. Unfortunately, here it didn't do well against Slowbro. I didn't have Thunder Punch or Toxic or anything like that. He didn't bring Slowbro too often in the past, so I wasn't super worried about it, as it's still able to deter his Tornadus Therian, Revenge Kill his Manaphy from a decent amount of health, and also potentially kind of trade with his own Metagross, which was definitely more pressuring to my team than mine was to his, so I would be fine with that as well, while also deterring Clefable. Scarf Magnezone here also wasn't super great. He tends to use a lot of Pokemon that are trappable, such as Mega Metagross, which he does have here, but there's no Scissor, no Ferrothorn, no Skarmory, so I knew it would be more used as utility, maybe spreading Paralysis and getting a Revenge Kill on the Metagross than anything else. I also have a Swords Dance Gliscor. He does have that checked a couple times over, unfortunately, between Manaphy with Ice Beam, Slowbro with Ice Beam plus Scald to stall out things, and potentially either Ice Punch on Metagross and or HP Ice on Tornadus T, so I knew I had to be careful there. But I do have some good things going in this matchup as well. If he's not Energy Ball and Manaphy, which he very well could be, then my Jellicent looks great. And in addition to that, if he's a Combine Slowbro, I could wall that too. You can't really do much with Slowbro unless he's Toxic. And to add on to that, I also have Stealth Rock on my Drill, which is able to get up pretty comfortably against this team and pressure him. So I know that I'm definitely not facing a favorable matchup, as Manaphy is one of the Pokemon I really didn't want to see. And also, on top of that, it's the fact that he has a nice amount of longevity in this team means he could get it in quite a few times. So I know if I could minimize the Manaphy, I can probably play the game, and if not, then it could get out of hand. So I know right off the bat the game plan is to figure out what kind of set the Manaphy is and just gauge from there. So getting into the match, I know I want to get Rocks up ASAP to pressure things like Manaphy and Tornadus T, so I lead with X-Drill, and he actually does Clefable and goes for a knockoff turn 1. That's fine. Getting some chip off on me is really good for him, but I know I'm still pretty healthy. However, he gets a crit Moonblast, and now I'm only at below 2/3 health, so I don't love that, but I know it's fine. I'm wondering if he's going to stay in here trying to scout for Toxic once more, but he goes Tornadus T as a mid-ground and takes an Iron Head there as well. I know for a fact he's in range of the follow-up Iron Head, so I'm able to just go ahead and get my Gliscor knowing he's never going to knock. He does bring in the Manaphy there, but I'm fine with that because I can go Magnezone, and given this Surf damage, I can tell he's not max special attack, Modest, or anything like that in the Manaphy. That gives me a couple of things that are crucial. First and foremost, if I ever need to, technically speaking, Surf is still a roll on his X-Drill given how specially defensive I am right now. In addition to that, a +3 Surf is very unlikely, if even possible, probably not possible, to kill the Clefable. And second off, Gliscor from full is almost always, if not always, going to live in Ice Beam, depending on, the exact specifics of the roll. For example, if that was min damage, then a max damage Ice Beam could kill Gliscor. But if this was a mid roll, Gliscor is always living in Ice Beam, and from its current percentage, 95, it should almost always live it as well. So those are some really valuable things that I have to keep in mind here. And I also knew that because I have this Magnezone and it lives a follow-up surf, and it's almost always Scarf Magnezone, he knows he wants to get out of there. So he has to go drill here. And I know this is an opportunity to fire off Hidden Power Fire and see what kind of spread he is. And thankfully for SoulWind, he's actually a more specially defensive X-Drill. So I know I want to get that out of the way as quick as possible. Getting 38% there is great. He's probably going to go Earthquake here. But I don't want to let him get the spin off. So I go Jellison. I'm like, okay, if he Toxics it, it's not the end of the world, I guess. He goes Clef as I miss a Wisp. That actually turned out to be pretty important, as later on I get a Thunder Wave off on this with Magnezone, and that helps me a lot. It really does help me a lot, honestly, him not being paralyzed. But at the same time, there's some other stuff later on in the game that definitely minimize my odds. So we'll get to that later. But all in all, that's definitely a good miss for me. My miss helped me, is what I'm trying to say here. But now he gives me a free opportunity to pretty much Mega Metagross, knock off 1-18 there, and I know I'm pretty safe. I'm pretty sure at this point he's rocking him with Slowbro, with Scald, Ice Beam, either Thunder Wave, Toxic, or Calm Mind, and Slack Up, because that's the main way of beating Gliscor with a Slowbro, and it makes a lot of sense in this team to have that. So he goes for the Thunder Wave there, and I'm like, okay, yeah. I didn't want to click Zen Headbutt or Ice Punch or anything like that into Rock Helmet, though, so that's why I went for the Earthquake with Metagross, and now my Jellison, and he gets a crit knock on a paralysis, but I'm ultimately okay with this. I can just heal up on the following turn as long as I don't get parried again, and thankfully I'm able to get that recover off, so pretty good position all in all. Taunt wears off, but that's fine. I could go X-Drill here, and I am able to get come in a Moonblast. Only does 12 this time, so that's pretty good. He's threatened out, so I know I can go back to Gliscor here, and he goes Slowbro. That's fine with me. I just want to see if he's Ice Beam. I'm fine just roosting it all off and ending the sequence at 70-75% health. He actually gets a crit Scald there, which leads him to maybe he's not Ice Beam, but I actually just roost up here, and Manaphy is honestly, now here's one play I regret. This is like the only play all game I regret really. After the Poison Heal, as you see, it brings me up to 99. I almost always live Ice Beam here, but I kind of wish I didn't press it when he was this healthy. And as you see, he gets an average roll, so I live that, and it's fine. But now at this point, I'm in range of Clefable's Moonblast, I'm in range of this, everything pretty much. I gotta come in on like a free turn or predict a switch against something slower now, and I shouldn't have handcuffed myself with this later, and thankfully it's not gonna punish me, but I don't think it was worth it at this point in the game, honestly. I think my play should have just been to go to Metagross or to go to Magnezone. The issue is I was scared of him going for a Surf into either of these, and that would have been really troubling because it would have been much weaker. And I was afraid of going to Jellison on a Tail Glow because that could have just been game over if he was, Energy Ball, and that would have been a problem. But okay, I get some chip on this Manaphy, that's good. Now I go Jellison, predicting him to go for a follow-up attack. He goes for Ice Beam, and that's fine, only just 10% there. And now I'm like, okay, I want to get out of here maybe, or maybe just taunt him. I go Magnezone, that works for me. And now he lets it take the Thunder Wave, and I think this was a pretty big mistake on his end, letting it take the Thunder Wave. And yeah, he got unlucky before, but never, ever, ever was I going to click Hidden Power Fire here. I feel like Drill was a much safer play, because letting us take the Thunder Wave now means that Jellison can potentially taunt it. Maybe he didn't think I had any speed if he was on Jellison, it was a speed tie, which I guess would make some sense, but I feel like if you're running Taunt Jellison, which I revealed, not running speed in a Clefable-infested metagame doesn't make much sense, so I don't know, but lo and behold, I get the paralysis off on Clef, which is super helpful. I definitely don't agree with this play there, but it would have been a risky play to go Drill, so I respect that nonetheless. But I also couldn't have let the Magnezone get knocked at that point. I don't think he went for knock because later on he revealed to have Wish. I think he probably went for Wish, but if he went for knock there, that would have helped him quite a bit. So while I think he made the wrong play, I also got pretty lucky on that turn. So yeah, I get Drill in here and I just go for an Iron Head and he goes to Slowbro, great play. I just didn't want him getting cheeky with that Clef, so it's fine. He now goes Clefable of his own here, and I can just recover up. I'm fine if he reveals whatever he has. And yeah, he reveals to be Wish. So Wish plus Manaphy, that's a pretty dire matchup for me, unfortunately. Manaphy with 5 million lives is not something this team wants to handle in the long haul. In fact, I don't think any team wants to handle it. It's a pretty cool call. Admittedly, I was kind of surprised it wasn't at least like a Thunder Wave or a Flamethrower Clef, because his team's matchup against a Swords Dance Mega Scizor is really bad. He's got no Hidden Power Fire and Manaphy. Drill just lets it roost up. Metagross lets it roost up. Slowbro basically has one chance to burn it, and a +2 username could just kill it. And it's just Heat Wave Guarantee. I was really surprised when it wasn't Flame or something like that, honestly, or Hidden Power Fire in this, just because, I mean, I've used Mega Scizor or decent amount in ORAS, and I guess I was kind of expecting to prepare for it. But yeah, that's kind of an assumption I made, and thankfully, Getting that assumption wrong didn't really cost me a ton because he was just Wish, and I wasn't able to stop the Wish anyway. Like, it's a Clefable, it's gonna get in, it's gonna get Wishes up. So yeah, not ideal, but it's fine. I do get a Wisp off on this Manaphy though, so not all hope is lost at least, but it doesn't look great. He goes Talglow here, and I unfortunately can't get my Nightshade off, but that's fine, I guess. He's still only a +3 attack against a Jellicent, and he doesn't have Energy Ball, so it's not the end of the world, I guess what I'm trying to say here. He goes for Rain Dance to get the burn off, which does make some sense. Now he goes to Clefable on the Nightshade. I'm not really sure why he's going Clefable though, because I have faster Taunt, and I get to show that up here as he tries and goes for another Wish. I don't think that one made much sense there, but I digress. He just gets powered there, so I get pretty fortunate at this point, and now I'm getting a few more up here as Moonblast ultimately is going to only 24 to me. I really feel like on Taunt, his play might have been to go Tornadus and just pivot around, but I guess without Rest on Manaphy, it kind of blocked him into going to this, but I get parried on a soft boiled, so that solves all his issues there. Now I go to my own Clefable. I don't want to play in this stalemate forever because I'm running out of Nightshade PP, and I want to try and get some chip on this Clefable, and for some reason he's staying in instead of going to, say, his Excadrill or his Metagross, when it should be pretty obvious that I don't have Flamethrower on this because I have Magnezone on my team. So given that, my Gliscor matchup, it should be really clear to him that I'm a Calm Mind Ice Beam Clefable, which is super common in ORAS OU, and it's paired with Magnezone a ton. So I'm surprised he didn't go Metagross. I'm surprised he didn't go Drill when this has the ability to spin instead of Brox. This is the ability to, Mega Evolve, so it can outrun things like my Gliscor, which I guess he didn't think was fast at the time. But that's neither here nor there. It's fine. I'll take the damage gladly. He trades 2 Moonblasts for Knock for to get a power on 1. I think that was not a great trade for him, but I digress. I go to Gliscor here knowing he has to soft boiled, and now I'm able to get that heal up in Gliscor. That's what I mean by thankfully that play didn't end up biting me in the ass before, so I'm able to heal up as he goes Manaphy. However, the Manaphy is quite low now. It's only at 42%. Now, unfortunately from 93, I don't want to risk that Ice Beam roll, so I just go Magnezone here, and he goes Ice Beam, and it only does 17%. That's fine with me. Now here, he goes Clefable as I Hidden Power Fire, predicting the Drill. Oh, actually, I Volt Switched this time. Oh, I Volt Switched. Okay, so that was a good play by me. It was really just a 50-50, though. I get Gliscor in. Now, I want to try and get a sweep off if I can. He goes Slowbro, but unfortunately, it's Scald plus Ice Beam, as we said, so I can't really sweep at this point. So, I go Swords since you're just trying to catch a double switch, maybe an errant double switch, but he just goes Scald. He's making the right plays. It's good for him. At this point, I'm fine, just roosting off a couple times to see if he goes Ice Beam. He did reveal it before, though. He didn't reveal it before, though, so I'm trying to see that. Yeah, I go Earthquake here +2, and he just keeps scalding. He's trying to bait me into not scouting for Ice Beam, I think, and lure me into a false sense of security, which is a smart play, but I think on that turn, he reveals the Ice Beam. Yeah, so I'm like, yeah, okay, he has the Ice Beam after all. Well, that's fine. Now here I go Jealous. I'm like, yeah, I don't want to play a long game against it. He just goes for another Ice Beam that only does 8%, so that's not a big deal. He goes Clef here, and I get a recover off. And okay, this would be a great time to get a taunt off, but I get it off, and he actually goes for Wish. So I'm like, okay, works for me. I get the Gliscor back in because I could just sit here all day against, as you see, Moonblast is only doing about 30 on average, so I can easily roost that off, and Poison Heal already almost recovers it after a couple turns, so yeah, I get that roost off here, and unfortunately now I'm already down to 11 roosts, so I go to Jellicent now on the Scald, and I'm like, okay, this is a little bit like annoying because he's like slowly getting more chances to get Wishes off. But if I could get just a string of not paralyzing on taunt turns, then I could actually be in great shape. And not only do I get a taunt off there, but he went for Softball, I didn't go for Moonblast. So now, fortunately, we both get parried here, which probably hurts me a little more than him because I'm trying to chip him down. But at least he was parried too, so he didn't do any damage. And then he parries again to make it even better for me. So I'll gladly take that. That was a little fortunate there, especially because in the following turn, I taunt and I don't get paralyzed, so that's amazing. Now, I predict a Slowbro and get a Wisp off, but I get parried, which really sucked. However, what I'm able to do here is predict him to, after the next taunt, of course, predict him to go back to Slowbro, and I get a Wisp off on it there. And now this is huge for me, because he now loses to Gliscor 1v1 with this Slowbro. So, in summation, he has a weakened Manaphy, potentially Ice Punch Metagross, but is slower than me, and potentially Hidden Power Rise Torn, but that doesn't have any way of killing me, and it's weakened in Rock Drop to check my Gliscor. So Gliscor looks really good at this point. Part of me wanted to just go Gliscor and say, you know what, screw it, but nah, I didn't want to risk that at this point. He scalds into me as I just went for Nightshade, but that's fine. Now here, I think I go for the Nightshade again. Maybe I go for the taunt, but I get parried. I can't remember. I know I went for Nightshade the first time, though. But whatever, he just keeps doing the same thing. That's fine. I guess he's trying to make sure I don't go Gliscor, but it doesn't look amazing for him at this point now. I feel like I've gotten a much better position with the burn on this, so I'm fine going Gliscor here, just roosting that off, because he's also forced to use Slack Offs, and eventually that gives me openings. He sees that, though. He goes Manaphy. I roost. And now that Manaphy's pretty weakened, and he doesn't have rest or anything to heal himself, which is why he's super reliant on that Clef. So I just go to Jellicent on that Ice Beam here, and like, okay, this is pretty good. Now he goes Slowbro here, as I think I Nightshade? Yeah, Nightshade. That leaves him quite low again. So I'm like, okay, this is my chance to go maybe to that Magnezone, as I just go for the taunt here. He's kind of forced to Scald or Ice Beam, so maybe I could just Nightshade again, but nah, he goes Tornadus T. I'm just like, you know what, it's fine, I'll just Nightshade. It leaves him low. Now he's even lower, so he's definitely in Facade range after, say, Stealth Rock, for example, which is super helpful to me. I taunt predicting the U-turn there, catching that Fable, so that's great. I don't let him get the Wish off. And now I go Magnezone, and he goes Slowbro here. Now, I really, really wish I clicked Volt Switch here, because if I get Volt Switch into anything not named Excadrill, I could probably just get the Gliscor, and I'm in great shape. But if I Volt Switch into Drill, he can potentially spin away my rocks, and my own Drill is pretty weakened. I don't love that, so ultimately I go for Hidden Power Fire, predicting the Drill, and he makes the right play and goes to Clefable, so he got me there. So I'm like hoping, okay, maybe I get a Paralysis here, or maybe I could just weaken the Manaphy one more time. I go to Gliscor on this turn. He gets a Wish up. I'm like, okay, that's fine. He's going to heal up the Manaphy. No big deal. He surprisingly went right to it. I kind of thought he'd let himself heal up first and maybe go for another, but that works for him. At this point, this is one more play. I'm like, I kind of regret, but I didn't think the +2 Earthquake trade was worth it when he's at full health. So I didn't want to risk like being super weakened, but Ice Beam again. So I just went to Jellicent here, and he goes for Tail Glow. Like, okay, fine, let's do this. +4, I taunt there. I kind of wish I Wisp, but it doesn't really make a huge difference. He goes for the Ice Beam, and I get the Wisp off. I'm like, okay, let me get one Recover off just to try and lure him into potentially being scared of a Thunder Punch Metagross to Revenge Kill him. So I get that off, and now I go Metagross, as I said, try and pull up the Thunder Punch, because after Stealth Rock plus Burn, it would have killed him always, and also, I'm Zen Headbutt, so I really didn't think he'd stay in, because either Zen Headbutt or Thunder Punch are easily going to leave him in range of Rocks, Burn, and stuff, and he's never going to get the Mad Field again, but he stays in an Earthquake, which I find kind of surprising, but Earthquake crit, I mean, either way, regards to the crit, he would have been at most 40%, and that's before the burn. After the burn, he's at 20. Yeah, he would have been at most like 35%, and after Stealth Rock, that puts him in range for Moonblast, and Earthquake after Stealth Rock, and Earthquake and Nightshade. Everything in my team could have killed him is the point. I don't think the Earthquake crit really mattered at all. So I go Magnezone here, and now here's a dicey play. Because if I hit Power Fire into the Drill here, the Drill's gone. But the Drill is also a setup fodder for the Gliscor, so I don't really mind the Drill being alive or not. It's just because Rocks would then be spun off. However, if I hit Power Fire into this, I lose the Magnezone, and it's also really rough, because I gotta probably lose another Pokemon. So, I could actually heal up with Jellicent, but if I get fully powered, that's screwed. And all in all, I don't mind the Gliscor coming in, the Drill coming in, because it invites the Gliscor in. So I'm just fine going for Thunder Volt Switch here, sorry. And he goes to Drill, good play by him, but now on this turn, I go Gliscor, I see Rocks, which I think Spin made more sense, but I guess he was scared of Jellicent, so he went for Rocks, which is a fine mid-ground here. And now I know I'm quicker than him, and I know Earthquake's a good roll to kill, so I just go for it. I should have went for Swords Dance in hindsight, but I don't think it made a huge difference, as at this point, I'm fine just pursuing this 1v1. But he goes for Ice Beam, and he crits me, so after getting the burn on this, all of it for nothing. Ah, man, my win condition's dead, so I just kind of conceded from there. The game was obviously pretty much over. This sucked, because I positioned the Gliscor super well to win the game. As I said before, the Gliscor was 264 speed, so it outran the Metagross before the Mega Evolution. It lived an Ice Beam from the Manaphy. So what would have happened was, assuming he let me trade the Slowbro for the Gliscor, which I'm assuming so. If he didn't, then I could have potentially gotten a kill at full health against the Clefable or the Excadrill. So I think he had to kind of force that trade with Slowbro. He would have Manaphy to revenge kill me. So then it basically would have been a fodder war, in that I would have just needed to get a Thunder Wave off on that. Basically what happens was, I get Stealth Rock in the Metagross, and then I get a Volt Switch off on it with the Magnezone. I probably have to fodder off one of Jellicent or Clefable, and then the next time, I Thunder Wave into the Metagross. Ideally, he kills me. And then, between Excadrill and Gliscor, what I can do is, assuming he's Ice Punch on Metagross, which he said he was, and I guess it makes some sense that one of Metagross or Tornadus has an Ice Move, yeah, then I Roost off, and Ice Punch does 64 max on Roost, so I'm getting 62. So on average, I'm recovering about 2.4 or 2.5% given rolls, and if he ever fully paras, then I'm in good shape, because I gain 62.5% that turn, I kill him with Earthquake. That's assuming I don't get min with like Volt Switch into Stealth Rock ×2 plus Earthquake on the Metagross. But basically what would have happened was, and this is, I talked about my server with Rick Astley. I would have been slightly favored, but he also claimed he had Hidden Power Ice on Tornadus T. Now, I feel like he really, really needs Heat Wave because the Scissor matchup's dire, but he could fit Hurricane, Heat Wave, Hidden Power Ice, and U-Turn. But then he'd be without Hidden Power Rock or Smackdown, and his team loses 6-0 to Zard Y pretty much. So I guess he would just kind of, pick your trade-off there, pick your vulnerability, which is completely fair. He wanted to be more safe against Gliscor and Garchomp, so I get it. But the thing is that if I get that Roost off, then the aforementioned Power Ice, it does 70% max to my Gliscor spread. And after a Roost plus a Poison Heal on the turn he gets powered, plus another turn of Poison Heals that killed the Metagross, I would be above that 70%. So, in theory, if I didn't get crit at all, and yeah, there are a number of chances he gets to crit me, I would win the game. But it's a really drawn out endgame. There was a lot of room for me to misplay, and there was also some room from the outplay, to be fair. So, I really don't think it was clear cut. I think I was favored, yeah, but it's hard, especially since if that Clefable was never paralyzed, if it got burnt to begin with, I think he probably would have been favored in the game overall, because that could have opened up a lot of opportunities. So, shit happens. That was a really unfortunate ice because I feel like I played my ass off this game, and all I have to show for it is getting 6-0'd, but well, that's life, I guess, It was really rough, but I knew that I still was pretty confident in my 2 remaining teams to go. So now we have this game, and apparently SoulWind's using a team that Ben Gay built. I didn't recognize it. Like, I'm looking at Team Fusion, like, this is kind of weird. He's super weak to Spectre if it's not a Shifu single. So I'm thinking it's probably a Shifu single strike. Even then, he's pretty weak to it. I don't really love how his only fire resist is a Suicune, and I think it opens him up to being really weak to Heatran. Pheromosa, I'm thinking without Future Sight, it can't be banded, so it's probably a Quiver Dance set because that makes a ton of sense with Kun as well, because Shockwave to lure the Tox specs. And then it probably has to be some sort of Trick Clefable. That's my initial guess because it's focused on luring Tox specs for the Kun, but apparently it's a very different play on this 6. It's a Ben Gay team that's posted in his archive, and I didn't really memorize all the teams that Ben Gay posted. I faced a lot of them in the ladder, and I kind of became familiar with them from that, but that's about all. But apparently it's a Protective Pads Whirlpool Urshifu single, which doesn't even really necessarily always beat Toxpex. It gets burned early. Like, it's just a weird set. I can't say I condone usage of it, which also means he loses hard to Dragapult and Spectre, and for Dragapult he's a plus speed banded Pheromosa, which is a big problem for me because once that shit gets a kill, it just cleans my team. I'm using a really cool team. I really love this team. It's a lead choice band, not lead. What am I saying? No, it's not choice band. Lando T. No, it's a lead Stealth Rock, Swords Dance Explosion, Lando T. It's Shift Gear, Calm Mind, Life Orb, Focus Blast, Stored Power, Magearna, a Choice Scarf, Trick Tapu Fini, a Swords Dance, Life Orb, Giga Impact, Knockoff, Leaf Blade, Kartana, which looks amazing here once I kill that Pheromosa. Kind of just sweeps him, so that's cool. He's got no Sucker Punch on that Urshifu because he's Urshifu Rapid for some reason. It's a Life Orb Urshifu, and last but not least, it's also a Quiver Dance Pheromosa. So I'm like, okay, if I get any damage on that Clef, then my Urshifu and my Pheromosa both kind of win. If I get the Pheromosa out of the way, then my Kartana wins. And all in all, I probably could potentially mount a victory with an accurate Magearna as well, but I have to be really careful of his own Pheromosa. I really didn't know the team coming in, and if I did, I would have played it differently, but apparently it's a Jolly Choice Ben Pheromosa, and that's one of the 3 things. I didn't want to face that, I didn't want to face Unaware Clefable, and I didn't really want to face a Scarf Spectre either, but I knew I could beat all those things. But the thing is that after it gets a speed boost, it's really hard for me to deal with, and I usually have to boom Lando T in the early game, so without having Lando T there, and I didn't really have any reason to think, oh, it's going to be a Jolly Banded Pheromosa, because Adamant's more common, and I figured he'd have actual Ghost Resist near Shifu, and honestly, maybe I tunnel visioned a little bit, but I just don't understand how you could be this weak to Spectre. That's just my honest opinion. I feel like this team is fundamentally flawed that he's using, and I tried to rationalize it too much, and I got in my head, and instead of accepting all possibilities, I definitely tunnel visioned a little bit, and that sucks because this happens. I lead Lando T. And I get an Earthquake in that. Oh, I don't know why I'm skipping to it. I get an Earthquake in this Clefable, which is amazing for me because, like, Pheromosa can now kill it at +1, or Shifu can kill it with Poison Jab. Like, I'm in good shape. He goes Corviknight. I just wanted to make sure he didn't recover here, so I'm fine going for another Earthquake. I could just get rocks off on this turn. It's not a problem at all. He U-turns here, and he goes to his Urshifu Rapid Strike. I'm like, okay, I'm fine if this wants to kill me with Surging Strikes and lock into that, because then I could go Kartana and start picking off kills. But he goes Thunder Punch, which makes no sense to me at all. So at this point, I'm like, it's probably Scarf Thunder Punch, which makes sense because Quiver-Dance Pheromosa has not much speed control. So I'm fine just staying in here, but it turns out that he is the Protective Pad set, which takes out the Landorus, obviously. So I'm like, okay, no big deal. I can go Kartana here. I'm just going to Leaf Blade to kill this because Knockoff with Life Orb's only a favorable to kill I wanted to make sure I killed. And he goes Core. I'm like, okay, Leaf Blade, it's fine. No big deal. I can Swords Dance in the following turn. But he ejects out to Pheromosa. I'm like, okay, well, I feel like he's probably just going to go for like a Focus Blast or Ice Beam to take me out, but he then reveals to be Jolly Band. I'm like, well, that's a problem. While I can Revenge Guilt with this Finny, he knows I'm Scarf because I didn't take any leftovers. So it's like, okay, crap. I'm surprised he went to Corviknight because after taking damage with his Corviknight, he's like dead in the water to Kartana if the Mosa ever goes down, but it happened. So instead of roosting here, he U-turns, which actually makes a ton of sense because he is the plus speed Mosa and he kills everything in my team now except for maybe Magearna. I go Sucker Punch here and I try and kill it. Lives the Sucker Punch, of course. If I got a little higher roll, it would have died after rocks. I would have needed higher damage. So now here I misplay and go Finny. You get the speed boost, yeah, obviously Finny. But now here's what really frustrates me after I let Finny go. He only has a 60-40 chance of killing this Magearna with close combat. And in addition to that, if he doesn't kill this, I kill it with Stored Power here, because obviously Stored Power kills at 19%, -3 defense. Pheromosa, right. But then, once I bring in Kartana, Knockoff is going to kill this. Leaf Blade kills this, Leaf Blade kills this, Leaf Blade kills this after Stealth Rock, and Leaf Blade kills this from Life Orb after Stealth Rock too. So, if he doesn't get the 60-40 roll, I still win the game with Kartana. And in fact, I also would win the game with an accurate Pheromosa too, potentially. But I would have had to hit multiple Focus Blasts, so that's neither here nor there. It's whatever. But more importantly, Kartana just wins. So instead of going to his Nidoking, or going to his Suicune, or even going to his Corviknight, getting any damage off in this, ideally the Nidoking, Suicune, but yeah, any damage off in this whatsoever, he risks the roll and turns a 100% win into a 60-40 win. And he gets it, which, yeah, you know, that's kind of upsetting. SoulWind deserves a lot of credit because he played really well game 1, and he brought the team that did well game 2, but not gonna lie, this game 1 left a bad taste in my mouth because I feel like I was favored to win at the end without the crit, and game 2 left a bad taste in my mouth because, well, I feel like his team, again, as anything else, wasn't as great. But that whatever. Preparation's preparation. These were the 2 teams that were brought. That's fine, but I don't know why he risked that. I don't know if he just didn't calculate and didn't realize Magearna, even an uninvested Magearna, by the way, like 4 defend 0 HP, has a good chance to live that, or he just didn't think it through because his timer didn't go down at all that turn. Like, not since turn 9, so I don't know. I really wish I got that roll because I feel like it was a really sloppy play by him, but it worked out for him. And while I do think that one turn was a mistake on his end, he played really well overall. He brought a great team in ORAS, besides the Mega Scizor weakness, I guess. So a really great team, and it played it super well. And he deserves a ton of credit. SoulWind is an amazing player, and he's clearly one of the best right now. So good luck to him in the remainder. Really excited to see where his run goes. And as for this, well, unfortunately, that's the end of my run. Really was hoping to get an SM game in, just like I kind of was hoping to get a Black-White game in against McMegan before he got lucky against me and SM a couple years ago. It's just kind of been rough against some stronger opponents, getting a little unfortunate in Smogon Tour. But I think the biggest takeaway is that at the end of the day, you just kind of got to focus on having fun as opposed to just playing to win. Because I came into this series, I'm like, okay, I'm going to try my best to be super competitive and win the series, but it kind of deteriorates away from your ability to enjoy it after a certain extent. And I mean, I definitely didn't have fun here, just completely being honest. So, you know, maybe we'll rethink some things in the future, and it'll definitely be better this time because if you're not winning, then you got to find a way to get better. So I'm going to go over to these replays, I'm going to figure out what I did wrong, and really just come forward and put my best foot forward next time. And for you guys, especially the newer players watching these videos, if you guys ever have a tough loss, look it over, figure out what went wrong. Oh, I was thinking this, but I should have been thinking that. Oh, on turn 1, I should have been doing this instead of turn, option number B or whatever. That made no sense, but you know what I mean. The point is that you gotta have this relationship with yourself where you can accept your own constructive criticism. And BKC actually uploaded a video on how to get better using the timer, using the calc, using the battle log to really notice all this information. And I couldn't recommend any video more than this video. Check out BKC's video on that. As for me and this channel, don't worry guys, I'm not going anywhere. I love this game. I'm addicted to this game. I still love helping all you guys out. There's so many people that I feel like I reach out to every single day with these videos, helping them get better, helping them understand, helping them try new things, helping them have fun. And that's what I'm all about. So don't worry. I might take Sunday off, but I'll be back in business sometime in the early to mid next week. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope everyone has a great day. All right, peace out. Bye-bye.